Hey, this is Geek Protagonist. I definitely need to share this movie. So you got Devon Sawa, Ivana Bacaro from Shannara Chronicles. Shannara Chronicles. There we go. Which she was actually my favorite person in that show. And I love that she's in this, and I would love to see her in more stuff. I think she's awesome. She has a great look. Like, she can look rough like she did in Shannara Chronicles. She can also look approachable and normal, like, you know, like a girl next door, but she can also look sensual. Like, that's a multi-layer kind of actor, like, look-wise. She's very talented. I don't feel like when I watch her, she plays different people. Then you got Ryan Lee. I swear I've seen him in something before, but this was something that really stood out to me. He did a great job. You have Michael Jai White, which I was shocked that he's in this movie, and very happy because I love Michael Jai White. And, you know, he's Spawn, and he was still my pick to play Jon Stewart and Blade. I'm talking about if they were going to do it now. He looks amazing. Like, you look at him, he's in his 50s. That man looks like he's in his 30s. Like, I've never been in as good a shape as he is. Even in my best shape. And, of course, the great and wonderful Bruce Campbell. He produced this, as a matter of fact. And this movie is Black Friday. Now, I'm going to try to keep this spoiler light. It's not going to be a power-up review. But I'll put it to you like this. I love these kind of movies. Like, if you like Slither, this update, The Blob, the 1980s remake, Night of the Creeps, Ash vs. Evil Dead, Army of Darkness, those B-film kind of movies that give you the B-film feel, but they're definitely not B-film quality. I'm trying to think. Even Monster Squad. Then you will like this movie. And remember, a lot of these movies later, like, I love Night of the Creeps, and I know I wish they'd do a sequel, but Night of the Creeps, like, kind of got that cult status later. For some reason, in the 80s, a lot of films that we hold on to, like, now, like, yeah, this was amazing, like, didn't hit back then. And I think it was a stacked weekend, though, too. Like, I think it was a stacked month. So, the premise, and the other reason why I love these new B-film movies is because a lot of times they give you something a little bit more explanation that you wouldn't expect. And in this, basically, there is something that comes from space. That's why these people aren't, and trust me, a lot of people say they're zombies. At first I thought they were. They're really not, per se. You can categorize them as in, you can categorize the zombies in Zombieland, but technically they're not zombies because they weren't dead. They were more like rabid kind of cannibals, which I like to try to establish that those are two different things. When someone doesn't have to die to transform, that's not a zombie. But for the sake of argument's purposes, zombies, right? Okay. So with that, you have it where these people are in the store, they're all Black Friday. If you've ever worked retail, you can immediately relate to them. That's why I like Superstore so much, because you can relate if you've worked any form of retail. And you get introduced to Devon Sawa, who's like the standout guy. He's the guy from Idle Hands and Final Destination. He's been in some stuff, but he like aged very well, by the way. But he looks very different from when he was younger in my eyes. Like, he looks like kind of a rugged kind of guy. I would like put him in like a war thing or something. Still great shape and everything. I like his look. I'm like, he has this, like, I don't know, like this manly kind of look that I would like to see more of. And you know, he's the handsome guy. He's the vet that's been there at the store. And they all are kind of dealing with the Black Friday setup. And it's like, we're toys, but you also see kind of what's been going on to a degree. And things start to get a little crazy as some people are dealing with the shoppers. And it was kind of a slow burn while they were at the store, they weren't fully paying attention, and then all hell breaks loose. And it's like, but it starts off like with one little incident here, one little incident there. You have a couple other cast members who were very enjoyable. Like, everybody was very enjoyable. There was the one girl who was the employee of the month. I think her name was like Linda or something. They like she was always like, you want to be employee of the month, because she's always like that. You always get that person that's at the store like that. It was like every person that was covered. The suck up, the general manager, the person who's the kid that's kind of just being there for a while, somebody who just had to go out into the workforce, so this is all they could do. And it was like it captured every single personality trait that you would run into working at these places. And and the person is always getting out of here, the old person who is just kind of out of touch. And it was just beautiful. Like, they had to fight and deal with the situation. And as it starts to develop and kind of blow up, they're trying to realize, like, look, we have to survive. How the heck are we going to deal with this crap? And it's like more and more as they go, they're trying to figure out what's going on, trying to leave a lot of great character dialogue. I'm trying to keep this spoiler free if I can. Great character dialogue. The creatures were awesome because they started off where you would think they were kind of like zombies. They definitely were infected. And if you see the premise, they took some stuff from other things. Like, it reminded me a bit of Slither in all the right ways with the alien thingy. It was definitely a parasite. And that's in the description. I didn't know what it was. I thought it was just zombies or demon zombies. But there is something going on. It reminds you very much of Slither, like this one particular scene, almost shot for shot, but it was like a thumbs up because it was still their own thing. And it had like a blob feel, and how these things would come at you. It wouldn't be like always just like a bite. It was this really cool effect that they had. It was a very simple effect, but it worked, and I liked it. And I seen it something similar or something else, but I wanted more people to do it. It's like how they grab you, and that was great. The makeup was awesome. It was also cool because as the movie progressed, it was like they got more and more dangerous. They went from like being enraged and stuff, and some people were in denial, and you got the sneaky jerk. And it was just really cool how it all came together. Bruce Campbell played the guy. If you see the trailer, he played the guy as the general manager. Like, I gotta add this to my collection. This is another one of those movies I'm like, oh, I'm gonna love this. I watched it twice already, and I think I'm going back in for a third before I watch Masters of the Teelaverse. And I'm just like, this movie is hilarious. It was funny. It was fun. The characters were interesting. They all had these like moments too when they were talking, and you start to see who's like messed up. And you're like, what did you just say? And it really came off great. It was everything I expected for Bruce Campbell to do. And it had an interesting plot because, like I said, some of the stuff definitely did remind me of Slither. But it wasn't bad, especially when something towards the end of the film happens, and it's like, there's a thing that I like, and that happened, and you're trying to figure out the mystery of what's going on. And I hope we get more from this universe. I would love to see more from it. This could be easily a one-off, a one and done. I could see how, depending on the budget and how many people did. Had a limited release. It's on demand now. I think Amazon for like $7. But it was a good time. Like I said, if you are a B-film nut, you'll like it. If you like Ash and Evil Dead, you will like this. It had that same kind of feel to it. It just worked, and the twists and turns were fun, and it was just interesting. So the dialogue was great, witty, snappy. Everyone felt like a different person. All standing there. Like I said, the creature makeup was great. The coloring was fun. what these creatures were trying to do, or the zombies per se, they were interesting. As they progressed through the film, you saw more of it too. There is a mindset that goes behind it. Then there's like a crazy other situation that happens. Even there's a little bit of foreshadowing that happens. That's funny. Sometimes how they had to deal with some of these things were hilarious. And also too, the one dude was also a germaphobe, and that was great because like because if you think about it, people are actually kind of gross. Things that we do and we don't think about. Like there's a guy I used to work with, really cool guy, and if he's talking to you long enough, he would actually pick his nose and then eat the boogie. And I've mentioned it to him once, but he used to pick his nose all the time. Like, dude, that's not good to pick your nose like that. And he hit a couple vessels every now and again. Now, I know it's like gross this time. I tried to say it to him. I said something to his wife, like, hey, it's just something that, it was like a nervous thing he does. And it was like, he was adopted. And he didn't have the best life right away. So it was kind of a weird, nervous thing. So not to mention, I kind of left it be. Still a great guy. It's just, I always hand him hand sanitizer. And, I don't like eat food after him or anything like that. Nothing. Well, I don't really eat food after people anyway, but I wouldn't. Like, basically, I kind of kept my distance when anything was going on. So, yeah. Outside of that, though, the guy was great, but it's a disgusting habit, and a germaphobe would freak out. So, this film 100% gets a blow my mind. Now, it's not a blow my mind because it's some epic film. It's a blow my mind because it was like the exact thing I wanted it to be, and I expected it to be, which was just a bunch of schlock, nutball, crazy, weird stuff with some good special effects. The special effects were great. It used a lot of practical effects. It looks like it might have had a little CG here and there. I'm not the person who goes, I can't stand CG. I can't stand it. I like the blend, and I like whatever the story calls for. Some things do not need CG, and if you're not going to put some budget behind that CG, don't do it. It's just dumb. It makes it stand out. There's very few movies that even now, if I'm okay with in the future if it falls a little, but like for example, John Carpenter's The Thing just slightly feels a little less cool now. Practical effects are great when you really can do them, and they should never go away. At the same time, sometimes it's just better to use CG. It can add more and it can enhance. And it looked like they had a little touch here and there, and it actually enhanced. The characterizations were great. Bruce Campbell played a different kind of character, but he was awesome. Michael Jai White was great. Like Ivana Bacaro, I really enjoyed her in this. The germaphobe dude, he was awesome. So overall, it was just a really well put together movie, and I'm impressed. So this gets to blow my mind. If you like B films, I suggest you watch this and add this to your collection. Like I said, it's because I like that kind of movie. If you're not a fan of like Ash and Evil Dead and stuff, but you might want to see a cool, like kind of Christmassy horror movie, I'd say check it out anyway, just to see, maybe you like it. But if it's not super gory, it does have gore, but it's like not very much. So I don't know, but that's me. Blow my mind. Geek Protagonist. You stay safe, you stay healthy, you stay real, and tell me if you've seen the movie. I'm very happy. I think I might be going in for a third. I really enjoyed this movie. Like, I literally watched it, went back to the beginning, watched it again, and I think I'm about to go for a third. Just because it put a smile on my face. And I'll see ya.